Hello and welcome to Sporting Jibberish, that's the one. I'm Stuart Booth.
I'm Jack Luffman.
This has been
We're back.
A long time.
We are back.
Jack mixed it so much. Mixed it? I can't even speak. Missed it so much. We've decided to do a welcome back show. It has been, I think, plus 6 months.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. It's got to be. It's certainly. We've not done anything proper this side of the new year, have we?
No.
I think maybe just prior to the World Cup, was it?
Possibly.
During the World Cup, but yeah.
Anyway, we are back.
We are back.
We are back. With a certain signed shirt behind you.
Interesting stat about Kevin Peterson, lifetime member of Woodall Spa.
Yes, he opened the clubhouse.
No, the net facility.
The net.
That's what you.
All right. So you get an England international world famous player, and he opens up a set of nets.
The training facility, yeah.
You said nets.
The opening.
Did you put a ribbon around one of the net?
I did, yeah. Cut the ribbon, any bolt.
One net.
Yeah, I don't know. But he opening night of the London Olympics, that was. Because he flew in and he flew himself in.
Woodall's paid for him to fly in and out?
No, it was a bit of a deal done. He flew himself, he was learning to fly at the time. So he flew himself into...
So you bought him a plane?
Yeah, a small airfield just north of Woodall. Then we picked him up and he did 3 or 4 hours and then...
On a horse?
Yeah, carriage. And then he went back and... Not to the opening of the Olympics, but yeah, before the airspace closed, that's where I had to get back.
All right, okay, very interesting, very interesting.
There you go.
Right, okay, so today on the podcast, we're going to have a quick review of the Premier League as we are at the business end. Everything up for grabs, still up for grabs, but more interesting is the top 4 fight and then definitely the bottom 3 fight amongst probably 8 teams. You'd say?
Yeah, probably a few. Probably was up to that many a couple of weeks ago. It's probably just filled out a little bit. But
so we'll have a little look at that. We are also going to a review or a lead up to the Ashes.
Yeah.
England in not a bit of form at the moment.
Yeah, I think
playing better than last time we spoke.
Yeah, definitely.
And then, actually, I tell you what we'll do is let's find out about Jack. What has Jack been up to in the last? Let's talk Wanderers. Let's talk. This season, because you have finished the season now?
We've got a semi-final on Sunday, so a delayed one which we thought had been pied off, but it hasn't.
Okay.
So, but yeah, we've effectively finished the season. We've aimed the season dinner next Saturday,
6th of May.
6th of May,
Coronation Day.
Yeah. So, yes, we've had a good season, really good season. We've obviously, I think I said before that we developed. Be honest, we doubled or more than doubled our membership. The first team probably not as successful in terms of we didn't win a league or competition. The second half of the season was very poorly organised from the league committee, sides dropping out of our pool and different things like that, and which doesn't help momentum. I think we played 2 games midweek, then we didn't play a game for 4 weeks or 5 weeks. So that said, we still got to the semi-final of that, and again we should have won, but we played out at the Jibberish Port ground, not even the resort, at the Port, midweek, dewy, grass was long, just...
I love it, I love a Jack excuse.
No, it wasn't, we still should have won, but not conducive to a semi-final. Anyway.
But same conditions for both teams.
Exactly right, and we still should have won, we should have overcome that. But and then we entered it, which was probably our most high-profile competition since we've made it. We entered the ICC Ramadan tournament, played out at the ICC Academy, that was live-streamed across Facebook. With I was very impressed actually with the kind of the coverage and the seriousness of it.
I believe you could have, if you had a betting account, you could put bets on that.
I believe so. Yes, I believe so.
You made it.
Well, I'm not sure about that if they'd seen me bat. But yeah, no, we did all right in that. We didn't get out of the group, but again, we should have done. It wasn't that we were any worse or out of our depth or anything like that. We just didn't play well enough in the 2 games we lost. We didn't play well enough. I do believe we're a better side man to man, but that's sport, isn't it? So that was that. And then second 11, they've done really well. They actually won their Division 3. Division 3. They won that, won the final, and then it's that kind of mixed team that's in this semi-final as well. So all in all good. And then we finished off with a OG Cup series the last sort of 3 Sundays against our friends the Hurricanes, sponsored by OG, who we obviously know Gwill, which became the Wanderers boys won 3-0. So yeah, it's been a really successful season, enjoyable on and off the pitch, and hopefully finish it off in style with hopefully this. I think it's called the Ultra competition win and the dinner next week.
I tell you what would be an interesting game is you played the rugby boys, play them at cricket, and then at rugby, and combine the scores.
But I tell you what, I reckon it'd be interesting because we have got a few rugby boys in our team, and a few guys who have played. I'm not saying we wouldn't beat them, but I reckon we'd probably fare better at rugby in terms of looking like a rugby side than a team playing cricket, a bit like football.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Well, at university, the girls' football team did the same against the girls' rugby team.
Yeah.
So they played each other in a football match, and I think the girls' football team won like 7-8-0. Then they played them at the rugby game and beat them at rugby as well. Yeah. So that was bad news for the rugby girls.
Yeah. It's interesting though. It'd be good fun. But
yeah.
I mean,
get Larkin in.
Oh, the rhino.
Could you imagine that gorilla with a helmet on?
Look, yeah. Oh dear. Yeah. Interesting. But yeah, that's us. So go, and then we'll go again. Obviously, we've got. I think we're going to enter the ICC. I think they call it the Arabian Cricket League for next season. Sevens on the horizon. Ramadan again, which will be early March next year.
Yeah.
Another maybe even 2 or 3 sides, and we've got talks about potentially doing some academy / summer camps, and then maybe another sport or two. So we'll see.
Very interesting.
We'll see. Your season's not quite finished yet, though, is it?
No, we've got, and it makes you like we are almost in May now, and I think last night we had a game, and we are 30 degrees now.
Yeah, the humidity's ramped up a bit.
I think we've got 4 or 5 games left of the season, so heat-wise, it's just only going to get worse for us. But yeah, it's been a strange season. So for those that followed us at the beginning of the season, we started off like a house on fire. We were putting goals in left, right, and centre. Probably our best attacking display since I've been at All Stars. But then we dropped points against Dubai FC. They beat us 3-1 early games of the season, and then we then went on and started smashing people 7-8-0, and then we lost to the Turks. We beat them in the cup. I'm not even going to talk about the cup because it's a weird scenario. So I am going to talk about the cup. I'm just going to lie. The cup. They had a first round, and then they allowed all the losers to be re-entered. They got drawn out of a hat. So we knocked the Turks out of the cup, and then they got redrawn back in the next round as a loser, and are currently in the semi-finals, and we've been knocked out since. So I'm like, how do you get your head around that?
I mean, I've heard of plate competitions,
went back into
or repertoires, but you don't go back into the main.
Yeah, so they've gone back into the main one, and they made it through because we got knocked out by the Japanese open age team. That was a strange game. I think then we lost that one 3-1. We were 1-0 up, 1-1. We thought we'd scored. Referee hadn't given it. No goal line technology. And then straight from that goal aspect of the game, they went up the other end and scored, and ended up losing 3-1. And then a couple of weeks ago, we played Dubai FC again, which was pretty much us 2 teams have broken away from everybody else in the league. And it was pretty much winner takes all in really, really tight affair. We should have gone 1-0 up. We've missed a really good opportunity to hit the post when I thought we should have scored. And then, to be fair, probably the difference on the night, they've got a lad called Mario, a big French lad. I think he's French. Absolute monster, a man quick. Just burst through the middle of the park. And then just finished really composed, put them 1-0 up. And it stayed like that right through till probably about the 90th minute. And we were pressing and pressing. They broke, and from that break, they've got brought down for a penalty and made it 2-0 with pretty much the last kick of the game. So we've kind of conceded the league, even though when you look at the league table, 1 point behind, but they've got 2 games in hand.
Right, okay.
So difference between the 2 teams, not a great deal. Pretty much there's a lot of quality in both teams, but I think they've just found a way to win. And when you come across a team that just finds ways to win,
yeah,
and they've just kind of got on a nice roll, just going to be very difficult to beat. So
There we go. Can't win them all, Stu. Can't win them all.
No, but I still have an offing with a chance for a trophy myself.
And you've got to do that because your old boy's won one, hasn't he?
Yeah, Harry this year played in the division, the open age group. So he's only 16. He played with his under-17s team in Div 3 and the mid-table finish. But for him, he scored 19 goals, won the leading goal scorer. So a really successful. Yeah, especially with only being 16 playing men's football. Yeah. Got sent off once.
Yeah.
Picked up a couple of yellow cards.
Like father, like son.
I don't get sent off though. That's the difference. But yeah, currently I think he finished on 19, won leading goal scorer. I'm on 17 with 4 games left. But I would say now that it's between me, one of the Turkish lads called Thomas, he's 2 goals behind me, and then Sufyan, who I think is probably one of the best players in the league, who's also one of the Turkish players. He's also on the same, so 15. So I think it's 17, 15, 15, and the next person's on 12.
Wow.
But with only this amount of games left, it's
Get your shooting boots
going to be
on.
close. It's going to be close.
Right, talking of league championships / football, I'm putting you on the spot. We'll move on to the Premier League. Well, I think we all know who's going to win it now.
Yeah, I think we knew when Arsenal buckled and they picked up a couple of draws back to back.
Yeah, I sensed it for a while. I said, I just thinking in this era, a bit like in the 90s or when we were growing up, you were a brave man to bet against Man United.
Yeah.
Now in this era, you're a brave man to bet against Man City.
Well, I was talking last night to Pooley, who's a massive Man City fan, and I was just saying that they just when they beat Liverpool, it looked easy.
Yeah.
And then every game from there, it almost looks like they're cruising games in 3rd and 4th gear, and they're never really having to step into that 5th gear because they've already done enough to win the game.
What was the game I watched? It was a Premier League game the other week, and they did just that. They got 4 very quickly. Was it Leicester? It was, because then Leicester come back. It might be when we were away on that weekend. Excuse me. And they were just like that. And it was that in control that he basically made 5 subs. Changed half his team, all his superstars came off, but yeah, they're quality when they get going. They're a far superior team. Forget the Spurs; they're a far superior team to Arsenal.
Yeah, I think when you look back at it, and Arsenal fans will probably look back and probably a bit like Spurs did that year that Leicester won it, is that they'll think they're throwing it away. But at the beginning of the season, and Henry, this is for you. If you'd been offered top 4, you would have took top 4.
Yeah.
To say that you were within a sniff of winning the league, you would have been like, not a chance. You would have been. So, what a great job Arteta's done. There's no doubt about that. And could be in for a running for manager of the season. Before we carry on with Premier League, who's going to win it? Because I think we both agree City. Yeah. I'd like to throw this one out there as manager of the season. I know we're 5-6 games, depending on which club you're at, left of the season. But I'm going to throw Unai Emery out there as a potential manager of the season.
Absolutely.
But that's providing Pep doesn't win the treble.
Yeah. No, I think you're right, and that moves on to probably. He's just been sensational, hasn't he? Since he's
17th, I think. Yeah, when he took over.
Since Gerrard, I think. Did I see second? If the league table started when he took over, they'd be second or something, or whatever it might be. Anyway, yeah, that manager is Arteta. I think it's Eddie Howe. Yeah. You could argue in that as Unai Emery, without a shadow of doubt. Yeah, so it's interesting because in terms of the top 4, 2 of the top 4, I think 3 of the top 4 are nailed on in now.
Yeah, I think, but I like the fact that we've had a season where it's not just been a Man City Liverpool race. It's been nice to have Arsenal at the top, and it probably would have been really nice if Arsenal went on to win it. But I think it's been well, you wouldn't say that, but being a Northern lad and hating Manchester, it would be nice for Arsenal to win it. But I think it's been really good the fact that there's been so many more teams been in and around, in and amongst it. So you go down as far as Brighton, who've had a great season and playing phenomenal football. And I will generally hold my hand up and thought when Potter went, that was them dispersing, losing Trossard. I know what's the other guy, Mopai went as well, but I never really rated
that
him
was
anyway.
A good sale, that I thought. But yeah,
but it could have been the slide for Brighton. They brought a brand new manager in, not used to this country, and if anything, he's kind of kicked them on another level.
Yeah, I would disagree.
And very, very unlucky to lose to United. But when you lose your centre forward like Evans goes off, And I think if Evans plays that game, he scores.
Because he looks a player to me.
As good as Danny Welbeck is, he's an impact player. There's more hustle and bustle rather than a finisher.
And he is towards the end of his...
He's a twilight.
Very good, very good. So I think Newcastle finished third. I think they've just hit the fourth. They had a bit of a blip, they've hit form. Obviously, my boys helped them with that on Sunday. And then I actually think...
When are we talking about that? Never.
No, we've mentioned it, that's enough. We're not going into detailed results, we're just looking at the top four. I actually think the top four finish as it is now. Arsenal, Man City, Newcastle, Man United. Even though I don't think Man United are playing as well as they have been. I just think that the fact they've got 2 games in hand, the fact that Spurs, you just don't know what you're getting with them at the minute. And Liverpool, obviously, probably the form team out of their next 4 or 5, but I just think they've got too much to do. Yeah,
I think when you look at it, you've got United. Well, let's discount Newcastle because I think they're right.
Yeah.
But United played 31 on 60, Spurs 33-54, Villa 33-54, Liverpool 32-53, and I'm going to count Brighton in this because they played 30-49.
Yeah.
So if they play them 3 games in hand, actually it puts them
2 points behind.
58 puts them right behind Man United. I think that I like the fact that Liverpool have picked up, and I've looked at Liverpool's games and I think all winnable. So
it's a big game for you boys against us on Sunday.
Yeah, we've got 3 games now in a row at Anfield.
Yeah.
So if you pick up 9 points on there, and let's say United drop 1 or 2 between now and then, it could just start to apply a little bit of pressure and see how it goes. Let's say if it comes down to it, I'd rather not play in any European competition next year if we can't get Champions League. I'd rather have that.
It's an interesting point.
Season off.
Yeah.
And then get yourself sorted for the year after.
Yeah, I think Man United have it, but I think if I was somebody said to me, bet on somebody coming out of the pack, it would be Liverpool.
Yeah, I think
they're the form team. Villa have had a great season, but they've obviously played the most amount of games in that thing.
I think
anyway,
Brighton will be interesting because they've obviously got to bounce back after that FA Cup loss.
And I think this stage of the season, points on the board are the better thing, aren't they?
Yeah. Right. Well, let's have a look at the bottom half. So, and this is going to shock you, but we could count Chelsea as that risk factor. So Chelsea are played 32 on 39 points. Leicester are played 33 at 29 points, currently hold the last relegation spot. So there's only 10 points difference. And I know people go, 10 points, a lot of points to make up, but Chelsea are in free fall, and I can't see where they're going to get the next win.
Yeah, I think they are. I think they're safe, but I agree with you that they always say there's one that gets sucked back in. I think they've got too much, but since Lampard's gone back, they've not won, have they? So I don't know what that losing streak goes back to, because if he's been brought in and he's not won a game, I know he played 2 in the Champions League in that period of time. They are a complete FIFA on it. You look at Spurs. Spurs is a mess in terms of everything. Chelsea's a bigger mess.
Yeah. Well, I think his record was 19. He's only won 2 out of his last 19, which is a scary thought. But then even more so with, I know we talked about this off air because we've not been on air for a long time. But you know, we talked about Spurs when Conte went. You were saying that it'd be nice for fans to get somebody like Ledley King in and Macy, to try and G up the fans. Is that what Chelsea have done to try and get Lampard in, and it's completely backfired?
Yeah, I think so. I assume so. Yeah, I just think I think there was Thiago Silva made an interesting interview, didn't he, after one of the defeats, saying about basically saying what the people were saying. The squad's too big. There's too many individuals. There's no pattern of play or anything, is it? And I guess maybe that they've done that for Lampard just to try and get the fans on side for a bit, and it's just too bigger. Probably a bigger mess than he realised. But yeah, they're in a free fall. I think they're safe, and I think Wolves are safe.
Yeah, I would go as low as, I'm going to throw West Ham. I'd go from 15th down.
Because I think Bournemouth have got their form, haven't they?
Bournemouth have got 2 points over West Ham, and then you think about them having 7 points over Leicester, and with 5 games left. You've got to then expect Leicester to score 7 more points and that means Bournemouth wouldn't pick up a point between now and the end. So I think it'd be interesting. But unfortunately, for somebody, it's going to be one of the
too big. There's going to be two big
clubs going to be in there, and you look at it at the moment. Southampton are in dire straits, and they look like
they've gone,
dead certs for gone. Everton could be there. Leicester, Forest, Leeds, West Ham. So I'm not going to. Forest are always going to fight a battle to try and stay up. Leeds have been tinkering on that, I think, for a couple of seasons after they had that one initial spurt in the Premier League. West Ham's a surprise for them to be down there, considering how they did so well and got into Europe.
Yeah. And they've got a good chance of winning that competition.
Yeah. And then you look at that and you just think, how have Leicester and Everton ended up in this position?
Southampton have definitely gone. I think Forest will definitely go down. I've just got this feeling because I think I think they might have, in the cold light of day, they might just regret all those signings that they
25
made.
new players.
Yeah, and they've had, I think they'll go. I'd like them to stay up, but I think they'll go. And I've got a sneaking feeling Leicester will as well. I would love Leeds to go down because that first season they're back in, everyone was raving about them. They're not any good. They're just doing that. Like sides haven't seen them, and they've got the adrenaline of playing the Premier League, some of those players, and all this kind of thing. I'd love to see them go down, but I've got a feeling they might hang on.
I'm going to say Forest, Southampton with you, and I'm going to go Everton.
You're going to go Everton?
I don't think Dyche is going to get them out. I just don't think there's enough there.
I think they're in Dyche. Don't get obviously they're in Dyche straits. I genuinely, and I think that defeat last night for Watton or whatever it was to Newcastle is damaging. Not that perhaps they'd have expected to win, because Newcastle, particularly after Sunday, are flying again, aren't they?
Yeah.
But I think you would have expected, dreamt of a point and been expected like a 1-0, 2-1, not like that, which would be worrying at home.
Yeah. Right, move on. I was about to get my pillow ready, okay, because we're going to be talking cricket. A little snooze. I tell you what I should get. You know them neck ones you get for the aeroplane, you can just fall asleep.
He's not changed people.
Or, you know the glasses where it looks like my eyes are open. That's what I need to buy. Okay, along with that, with her Hawaiian shirt. Yeah, that's a story we can't talk about. Right, so we're going to talk cricket. So when we were on the show a long time ago, at that point, pretty much from COVID lockdown, having been number one at Test cricket and been unbelievably beating people left, right, and centre, they brought in Rob Key, and then
Brendan
McCullum as new ones. And then everything has just turned upside down.
So obviously about this time last year that all happened, and it's been an absolute revelation, quite frankly. I just bizarrely, you talk about like bringing new managers in with the same set of players, they've not changed it hardly any. Yeah, some of them might have been given a bit of an extra run, or some of them have been brought back in, but effectively you've got the same bunch of players, and it just shows that obviously their leadership style is just that, go express yourself. I think they're very much a little bit like, I think I've referred to it before, Woodward's autobiography talks about his job wasn't to coach those sides, his job was to get the best out of them, because you don't get picked to play for your country if you're not good enough, right? And so I think that's what McCullum and Stokes have done. I think they sat down with him, it's quite obvious, just said, go play, go enjoy yourself,
play to your strengths.
And they did say it when they took over, is McCullum in particular said he only took, as a New Zealand, as a Kiwi, only took the England job because he felt responsibility for test cricket, and he knows an England side playing well, doing well, bears a lot of that responsibility, and that Test cricket is here to stay, and to be fair to him, stuck by the guns. And I think for many people for a long time, I think everybody's kind of really excited about what this Ashes is, because this Bazball, this attacking brand of cricket, is it going to work against Australia? Well, it's worked against every other side they've played thus far, and New Zealand have got as good an attack as Australia. So it'll be very interesting.
Well, the question I was about to ask you've already answered. I was like, are you excited about the Ashes? Because let's be honest, the last few Ashes, it's been a case of, let's hope we don't get whitewashed, let's hope we come out with something, let's try and pick up maybe a win here or there, or even a draw. But it's exciting. Do you think, though, to win it is too much? Or do you think you have a realistic chance of bringing home the magic?
The Egg Cup. No, I think they've got a realistic chance of winning, because I've said before, I don't think Australia are that good. I know that they thrashed us, particularly in Australia, thrashed us last time, Their bowling attack, if all their bowlers are fit and firing, they're very good. But their batting's not great. Yes, they've got Smith, and yes, they've got Labuschagne, who are good players. But the others are not world beaters. Yeah, Khawaja's on a good run of form. Warner's had his time, but averaged 9 in England last time. I don't think he was necessarily a certain starter. So I think there's a lot of questions in their batting order. As people would say about ours, but the way that we're playing seems to get people on a roll. So, yeah, I would say I don't know. I would have thought that privately, and when it starts hamping up a bit, McCullum and Stokes come out and say we're here to win it and we want to win it.
And what day are we looking at this starting?
Believe it's June the 16th or 23rd. Yeah,
so I've got another 6 weeks of you listening to rattle on.
And then there's 5 test matches, remember?
Oh, jeez.
About 4 months,
I think we need to go on a break again.
We want a break!
Yeah.
But yeah, so I am looking forward to it. Obviously, it's not bad timings for Zia because sort of after work. So lots of good cricket.
That's another question.
Fingers in lots of pies, huh?
That's not that type of show, my friend.
So excited for that. Obviously, the domestic season started there. Club cricket started. So although it's freezing, I think it gives snow this weekend.
Yeah, it's bad weather. I spoke to the family back home. Right, before we finish the show, we're going to mention how bad we are at fantasy football this year. We're having an absolute stinker.
Terrible.
I keep missing. So I forgot. Well, I knew the game was on, but I forgot to do my team the other night. So I had Haaland on the bench in fantasy football, but then we also have a little inter one, which is a really strange one. So we decided to have this draft one, and we've mentioned this before. So it's a league. There's myself, Jack, a guy called Larks, who's been on the show, Matty's been on the show, Nick Ash from England, Curry, Paul Walker, Sir,
Rugby Charlie,
and
the Egg Chaser,
Charlie Cook, the legend. Is also in that group. So you kind of pick your own players, and we've explained all this before. So coming into the last few games of the season, and Luffers has decided that he can't log into his team anymore, and it's something to do with the train system in the UK.
I tell you, I didn't say that. I said I can't wait. He just logs me out all the time.
I'll tell you what.
So I've given up. Basically, I've given up on that.
Tell them the story about the train. So it's a train.
So when we did the draft, you have to be online through the Sun app, right, or the newspaper. And I was on the train. We're in England. I was on the train up to Leeds. And I was on the train's Wi-Fi to save the old EE pay-as-you-go or whatever.
Okay.
Which worked fine.
Yep.
And the first few weeks or first couple, fine. Then all of a sudden it won't let me do. And it just logs me. I go in the app and it just logs me out. So I've chucked my toys.
But that's not what you told me. You said I think it might have something to do with the train.
Well, yeah, the train's Wi-Fi, yeah. What?
The train's Wi-Fi has brought the app.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay, right, okay.
That's what I'm doing in my press conference when I get sacked.
Oh, well, but it makes it even worse. So
I did win one game.
I was going to say, I'm currently top of the league, thinking I'm playing Luffers this weekend. Easy 3 points. He's only going to beat me. He's got Cancelo still in his team.
Did I go into the app though? That's the question.
No, because Cancelo's still there. I believe. But I had Haaland on the bench, which was cost me massively.
I did something really stupid, and I saved it. So the other week in the Premier League thing, I noticed that it would have been last weekend, the FA Cup semis. Yeah. So I've got too many players not playing it. So is it the wild card or the free hit, whichever one it is,
free hit gets
when it gets back to normal. So brilliant. Did all this. And then still picked a load of people in the who were in the semi-finals because I'd forgotten that Man United were in them. Luckily, I checked it on the Friday lunchtime or something like that. Changed it back. That would have been the best move ever, wouldn't it?
Right. Well, we're not winning that, and I think I'm out of the Sporting Jibberish Cup as well. So it's all bad news. So it just reverts back to the norm, Jack.
What do we know?